Today on Capitol Hill, a Homeland Security hearing meant to address global threats instead exploded into a sharp confrontation that raised deeper questions about power, trust, and accountability inside one of America's most powerful agencies.
Gentleman yields. I now recognize the gentlelady from New Jersey, Ms. McIver, for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member, for holding this hearing today. The greatest threat to the homeland right now is a Department of Homeland Security that the American people no longer trust, a department actively undermined by its own secretary. This is on you, Secretary Noem. Today's hearing is supposed to be about worldwide threats, but Madam Secretary, under your watch, the threat is coming from inside the building. Because when DHS, the department charged with keeping Americans safe, is caught breaking the law, lying to the American public, systematically dismantling oversight, fueling bigotry, and targeting vulnerable communities, trust is broken. Let's start with the basics. How can we trust your department with you at the helm? The American people deserve an answer, even if you've spent the past year dodging accountability like it's your full-time job. We need to talk about oversight. Oversight is not optional. It is not a courtesy because you feel like it. It is not something you entertain only when it's politically convenient to you. Yet, time and time again, Secretary Noem, you have treated congressional oversight as an inconvenience at best, and at worst, something to be invaded, ignored, or denied altogether. Republicans on this committee may be willing to hand over their constitutional duty in order to kiss this administration's butt cheeks, but I am not. I will never. My district is not, and the American people sure aren't. While Republicans turned this hearing into a praise fest for your failed 10-year communities across America, including mine in New Jersey, are made less safe because DHS under your leadership has become unproductive and malicious. All of the thank you that we keep hearing from across the aisle, there's no thank you from me. And we see the truth that you're trying to hide. The truth is you are deeply unqualified for the post you hold. This is on full display in the way you treat the people in this body, myself included, who have been elected to serve our communities and keep them safe. Representative Grajava, Senator Padilla, myself and others whose character, integrity, and bodies were attacked by your department without evidence and without apology. Far beyond being disrespectful, you have shown a complete disregard for the oversight authority granted to us by law. You have repeatedly shown that you will target whoever you want, whenever you want, without accountability. Members of Congress, members of our communities, and even American citizens, as many of my colleagues have continued to point out today. Secretary Noem, that's not leadership. That's not democracy. And that is not how this works. Again, this is not just about you. Don't want you to think this is just a pick on you day. This is about the Trump administration that has turned DHS into a political weapon. So I'll ask you this. Is Trump embarrassed by your tenure, or is this exactly the kind of god-awful leadership he wants at DHS? Yes or no?
Ma'am, we've already conducted more oversight visits.
No. It's a yes or no. Yes or no. Okay, Secretary Noem, this is my time to talk, not your time to talk. I reclaim my time. I reclaim my time. I reclaim my time. Chair, I reclaim my time. Secretary Noem, DHS is breaking the law, hiding information from Congress, and shutting out oversight. So let me ask you, how can the American people trust your department with you at the helm with this kind of behavior?
The American people absolutely trust this department to keep them safe. And we are showing that every day by the support we get across the country, the amount of people that we're recruiting to all of our different agencies.
Thank you, Secretary Noem. Do you agree that using DHS resources to target members of Congress is an abuse of power?
Excuse me, would you say that
You
again?
would have heard me if you stopped talking and listened to my questions. Do you agree that using DHS resources to target members of Congress is an abuse of power?
We are not doing that. We are out there enforcing the law, doing our work, and we are allowing oversight.
Of course, we're not going to get any answers. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. I now recognize the gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. McKean, for 5 minutes of questions.
What unfolded was not just political
Gentleman
theater.
yields. I
It was a
now
warning
recognize the
flare
lady
about the
from New Jersey,
relationship
Ms.
between
MacGyver, for
Congress
5
and the
minutes
Department of Homeland
Thank
Security,
you, Mr.
and
Chairman
about who is
ranking
really
member,
watching
for
the
holding
watchers.
this hearing today.
Before we go further,
The
make
greatest
sure you
threat to
subscribe to the
Homeland
channel
right
so you
now
do not
is
miss our
a
in-depth
Department of
breakdowns of the
Homeland
most
Security
consequential moments
that
in
the American
Washington.
people no
The
longer
exchange
trust.
began when the
A
gentle lady from
department
New
actively
Jersey,
undermined by
Representative
its own
MacGyver,
secretary.
took the floor for her
This
5
is on
minutes of
you,
questioning.
Secretary Noem.
From the very first
Today's
sentence,
hearing
it was
is
clear
supposed to
she
be
was
about
not interested in
worldwide
procedural
threats.
niceties.
But Madam
Her core
Secretary,
argument
under
was
your
blunt
watch,
and
the threat is
devastating.
coming from
She said the
inside
greatest
building.
threat to the homeland
Because when
today is not a
DHS,
foreign
the
adversary,
department charged
but a
with keeping
Department of
Americans
Homeland
safe,
Security
is
that has
called
lost the
breaking the
trust of
law,
the American
lying
people
to the
under
American
Secretary
public,
Kristi Noem's
systematically
leadership. That is a
dismantling
serious
oversight,
accusation, and it
fueling
goes far beyond
bigotry,
partisan
and
sparring.
targeting vulnerable
Trust is the
communities.
foundation of any
Trust
security
is
agency.
broken.
DHS
Let's start
oversees
with the
border
basics.
enforcement,
How can we
counterterrorism,
trust your
cybersecurity,
department with
disaster
you at the
response, and
helm?
immigration
The
enforcement.
American
When a
people deserve
lawmaker
an
says that
answer,
trust
even
has
if you
collapsed,
spent
it signals
the past
something much
year
deeper than
dodging
policy disagreement.
accountability like
It
it's your
suggests a
full-time
legitimacy
job.
crisis.
We need to
If this
talk
kind of
about
analysis
oversight.
matters to you, subscribe
Oversight
now so you
is
stay
not
informed as this story
optional.
develops. Representative
It is
MacGyver
not a
framed her
courtesy
argument around oversight,
'cause you feel
a
like it.
constitutional
It is
responsibility
not
Congress
something
is
you
legally
entertain
required to
only when it's
exercise.
politically
Oversight is not
convenient to
optional,
you.
not symbolic, and
Yet,
not
time
dependent
and
on
time
whether an
again,
administration
Secretary
finds it
Noem,
convenient.
you have
She
treated
accused the
congressional
Secretary of dodging
oversight
accountability,
as an
restricting
inconvenience
information,
at
and treating
best,
congressional
and
oversight
at
as an
worst,
inconvenience
something to
rather
be
than a legal
invaded,
obligation.
ignored,
She
or
also
denied
pointed to what she
altogether.
described as a pattern of behavior.
Republicans on this
Allegations
committee
that
may be
DHS
willing
under
to
Secretary
hand
Noem has
over
broken
their
the law, misled the
constitutional
public,
duty in
dismantled
order to
internal
kiss
accountability,
this
and targeted
administration's
vulnerable
butt cheeks,
communities.
but
Whether
I am
viewers
not.
agree with her or not, the substance
I
of the
will
accusation
never.
matters.
My
DHS has
district
enormous
is not,
enforcement
and
authority.
the American
If you want
people
clear explanations
sure
of why
aren't.
these moments matter,
While
hit subscribe
Republicans
now.
turned this
The tension
hearing into a
escalated when
praise
Representative
fest
MacGyver
for
accused
your
Republicans on
failed
the committee of
tenure,
abandoning their oversight duties in favor of defending the administration.
communities
She
across
contrasted praise from
America,
across the aisle
including
with what she
mine in
described
New
as real-world
Jersey, are
consequences in her
made less
district.
safe
Communities, she
because
says, are less safe
DHS
because
under your
DHS has become,
leadership
in
has
her words,
become
unproductive and malicious.
unproductive
This
and
is where the exchange
malicious.
shifted from rhetoric to lived
All of the
experience.
thank
She
you,
was not just
thank you,
talking about
thank you,
Washington
thank you,
politics.
thank you,
She was
thank
talking
you
about
that
how
we keep
federal
hearing
policy
from
decisions
across
affect
the
neighborhoods,
aisle.
families,
There's
and
no
public
thank
safety
you
back home.
from me.
One of the most striking
And
moments
we
came when
see
she
the
referenced
truth
lawmakers
that
and
you're
public
trying
officials,
to
including
hide.
herself, who she
The
says were
truth
targeted
is
or
you are
attacked by
deeply
DHS actions, with evidence or
unqualified for
apology.
the post
That claim
you
goes to the
hold.
heart of democratic norms.
This is
In a
on
democracy,
full
federal law enforcement
display
agencies
in
are
the
names
way
of
you
thus or hail
treat
to
the
intimidate or
people in
retaliate
this
against elected
body,
officials. Even the
myself
suggestion of that behavior is
included,
explosive.
who
Subscribe to
have
the
been
channel for continued
elected to
coverage as more
serve
details
our
emerge around these
communities and
allegations.
keep
When
them
she pressed
safe.
Secretary Noem directly, demanding a yes or no answer on whether former President Trump was embarrassed by her leadership or fully supportive of it, the room
myself,
tightened.
and
The
others
Secretary
whose
attempted to respond
character,
broadly, citing
integrity,
oversight visits and
and
agency performance,
bodies
but the
were
Congresswoman repeatedly
attacked
reclaimed her
by
time,
your
emphasizing that
department
the hearing was about
without
accountability, not
evidence
speeches. This moment
and
matters because
without
it illustrates a larger
apology.
pattern seen across multiple hearings. Cabinet
Far
officials often respond
beyond
to sharp
this,
questions with generalized
far
talking points
beyond
about
being
recruitment, enforcement, or
disrespectful,
public
you
support.
have shown a
Lawmakers pushing for
complete
oversight see that as evasion.
disregard
Few
for
wishing
the
understand that this tension is
oversight
not accidental.
authority
It reflects a fundamental
granted
struggle over who controls the
to
narrative and who
us
answers to whom.
by
If you appreciate
law.
this kind of deeper political context,
You have
subscribe so you do not
repeatedly
miss future
shown that
analysis.
you will
The
target
exchange closed with the
whoever
final
you
point of
want,
question. Does Secretary Noem agree that using DHS resources to target members of Congress would be an abuse of power? The Secretary flatly denied that such actions were taking place,
members of our
insisting the department is simply
communities,
enforcing the law.
and even
With time expired, the gavel moved on,
American citizens, as
leaving the
many of
accusation
my
unanswered to the eyes
colleagues
of many
have
viewers.
continued
Subscribe
to
now so you
point
stay
out
informed,
today.
empowered, and ahead of the headlines.